Good afternoon, all of you. So now we are going to discuss salient features of Human Genome Project. But already I introduced you what is Human Genome Project, when it was started, when it was completed. So each and everything already we completed, right? So now we are going to discuss salient features of Human Genome Project. In that, first important feature that is that human genome composed of 46 chromosomes, right? So that human genome. So that human genome composed of human genome composed of 46 chromosomes. How many chromosomes? 46 chromosomes. So in that, each and every chromosome has hundreds of genes. See, you can take human genetic material, otherwise human cell. In human cell, how many chromosomes are present in nucleus? 46 chromosomes, right? It means that human genome composed of 46 chromosomes. So what is human genome? So the complete set of genes or genetic material which is present in human cell called human genome, right? Then that human genome composed of how many chromosomes? 46 chromosomes. In that, each chromosome so that each chromosome contains hundreds of genes. So that contains hundreds of genes. Each chromosome consists of or contains hundreds of genes, right? So that genes separated by the intergenic regions, right? So that genes which are present in genetic material separated by the genes separated. So that genes separated by intergenic intergenic regions. Intergenic regions. So what are intergenic regions? So the gap which is present in between two genes called intergenic region actually, right? Then see here, each chromosome composed of or consists of hundreds of genes. See the genes separated by the intergenic regions. That intergenic regions, that intergenic regions consists of gene related sequences and extragenic DNA, right? What are they? Gene related sequences, and another one is extragenic DNA. Extragenic DNA, right? See, in that intergenic regions, so around 70% of the DNA is extragenic DNA, right? So around 70% of the DNA, right? Around 70% of the DNA is extragenic, extragenic, extragenic DNA, right? So in that extragenic DNA, in that 70% of the DNA, extragenic DNA, so 20% is highly repetitive. Highly repetitive means so that a genetic material, otherwise a DNA sequence repeated again and again, right? So that repeated sequences are 20%. In that 70% extragenic DNA, it has 20% highly repetitive. And what about remaining 80%? That 80% is single copied, right? In extragenic DNA, 20% highly repetitive and 80% single copied. Then see, is structural. The DNA is structural and coding. Structural coding. So the DNA is structural, right? And coding and express. Gene expression means gene expression in nothing but it expresses their characters, no. So the DNA or genetic material or genes are structural and coding and express in function. function. It means so the DNA molecule is participates in the formation of one particular structure, and it is also codes one particular proteins. It is also expresses their characters, right? So it exhibits the DNA molecule exhibits structural and coding and expressivity in functioning, right? So now come to that human genome composed of 3164.7 million base pairs, right? So that human genome contains 3164.7 million or million base pairs. Million base pairs, right? Otherwise, so simply within the brackets you have to write 3 billion base pairs, right? So that human genome or human genetic material, right, consists of 3164.7 million base pairs or 3 billion base pairs. 3 billion base pairs, right? And next one. See, in that estimated protein encoding genes are 30,000. In that human genome or human genetic material, protein encoding genes. Estimated protein encoding genes are 30,000. Genes are 30,000. Right? So that protein encoding genes are nothing but the genes which are involved in protein synthesis called protein encoding genes. So how many protein encoding genes are estimated in human genome? 30,000 genes. 30,000 genes. And that average gene contains 3,000 bases. 3,000 bases. Not base pairs, 3,000 bases. Average gene consists of 3,000 bases. Estimated protein encoding genes are 30,000. In that, average gene contains 3,000 bases. See, that gene's length also varies from one gene to another gene. So that gene length varies from one gene to another gene. One gene to other gene, right? See here, so that human genome contains 3 billion base pairs. In that, protein encoding genes are 30,000, right? Average gene consists of 3,000 bases. The length of gene varies from one gene to another gene. For example, you can take largest gene. So that largest gene is dystrophin. So that largest gene is dystrophin. Right? So what is the dystrophin gene? So it is muscle gene, right? So muscle protein encoding genetic material. It is dystrophin gene, right? So that dystrophin gene or muscle protein encoding gene is the largest gene, right? It contains 2.4 million base pairs. 2.4 million base pairs, right? So that largest gene, which is the largest gene in human genome? So the largest gene is dystrophin gene. It is muscle protein encoding gene. Muscle protein encoding gene. That gene is responsible for the synthesis of muscle proteins. See, that dystrophin gene or largest gene consists of 2.4 million base pairs. Then, and one more thing here. See, largest gene is dystrophin gene, right? It consists of 2.4 million base pairs. Okay, right? Around 30,000 genes are estimated in human genome project now, right? So in that human genome, 50% of the genes functions are known, but remaining 50% of the genes functions are unknown, right? So 50% of the genes, estimated genes, right? Functions are known. norm, right? And what about remaining 50%? That remaining 50% genes functions are unknown, right? So 50% of the genes functions are known, but remaining 50% of the genes functions are unknown. Still we need to identify, right? Then less than 2% of the genes participates in protein synthesis in human genome, right? So less than 2%, less than 2% of genes participates in protein synthesis in human genome. Less than 2% of genes participates in protein synthesis. Protein synthesis in human genome. Human genome. Less than 2% genes participates in protein synthesis in entire human genome. Right? Note on these features one by one. Again, I'm repeating. So that human genome composed of 46 chromosomes. Then each chromosome, it means 46 chromosomes genetic material or DNA is considered as human genome, right? That human genome composed of 46 chromosomes. Each chromosome consists of hundreds of genes. That genes separated by the intergenic regions. That intergenic regions includes gene-related sequences and extragenic DNA. Then that extragenic DNA, 70% of the DNA is extragenic DNA. It contains a highly repeated DNA. Highly repeated DNA means AGCT, for example, nucleotides. AGCT. So that AGCT repeats again and again. AGCT, 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 AGCT like that, right? Those are repeated sequences, right? Highly repeated sequences. See, in that extragenic DNA, 20% of the genetic material is highly repetitive. But what about 80%, sir? Remaining 80% is single copied. Then, so DNA is structural, coding, and expressive in functioning, right? And what about the human genome? So that entire human genome consists of 3164.7 million base pairs. If it is million base pairs. And what about billions? 3 billion base pairs simply. Human genome contains 3 billion base pairs. Then that protein encoding genes, estimated protein encoding genes are 30,000. Right? In that average gene, 30,000 genes. In that 30,000 genes, average gene consists of 3,000 bases. Right? So the length varies from one gene to another gene. Some are largest genes, some are smallest genes, like that, right? So largest gene is dystrophin gene. It consists of 2.4 million base pairs, right? So in that, 50% of the genes functions are known. That in that 30,000, 50% of the genes functions are known, but what about remaining 50%? So that remaining 50% functions, 50% genes functions are not known. Right? Then, so less than 2% of the genes participates in protein synthesis when we compare entire DNA or entire genome. Right? Note down silent features. Then. And one more thing, largest chromosome is first chromosome, right? So totally 23 pairs of chromosomes present in human genetic material, otherwise human nucleus, right? So in that 46 chromosomes, first pair, all right? Otherwise, what it is in 23 pairs, first pair, second pair, third pair, like that, right? In that, so first chromosome consists of large number of genes. Right? So more number of genes present in first chromosome, right? So that first chromosome, right, contains many genes. How many genes are? Many genes, right? So there are 2, 9, 6, 4. 2968. Exact number 2968. 968 genes. So that first chromosome contains 2968 genes. 2968 genes. Then what about Y genes? Right, smallest chromosome are Y gene. So that Y gene contains, Y gene means Y chromosome. So that Y chromosome contains 231 genes. 231 genes. Right. So largest chromosome, that is first chromosome. That first chromosome contains many genes. Right. 2968 genes, and Y chromosome contains just 231 genes. Right. Then, and the DNA or human genome contains 1.4 million base pairs of SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphs. SNPs means single nucleotide polymorphs, right? Around 1.4 million base pairs of SNPs, right? It means around 1.4 million base location differences around 1.4 million base location differences we observed in human genome, right? So we call them as SNPs. What are SNPs? Single nucleotide polymorphs. Changing of single base pair in that genetic material called a single nucleotide polymorphs, right? So around 1.4 million base pairs of SNPs, right, we observed in human genome, right? These are salient features or important characteristic features of human genome project. Important features of human genome project. So number important, first chromosome contains many genes, 296. Then Y chromosome contains 231 genes. Then 1.4 million base pairs of SNPs located in human genome. Then human genome contains around 3164.7 million base pairs. So protein encoding genes are 30,000. So average gene contains 3,000 bases. Length varies from one gene to another gene. Largest gene is a dystrophin gene. It contains 2.4 million base pairs, and 50% of the gene functions are known, and remaining 50% of the genes functions are unknown, and less than 2% genes participates in protein synthesis. These are salient features or important features of human genome project, right? No doubt. Then next, advantages of human genome project. Right. So now come to advantages of human genome project. So what are the advantages of human genome project? We'll see. So it makes aware of beneficial resources. That human genome project information, right? That human genome project knowledge makes us aware of beneficial resources. Right. So this knowledge, human genome project knowledge or human genome project information, right, makes us aware of beneficial resources. That information is useful to identify beneficial resources. What type of resources are beneficial, right? What type of organisms are useful, right? So that information given by the Human Genome Project, right? Then second one, and one more thing, it is also helps in, it is also helps in, it is also helps in the area of medical, otherwise health. It is also helps in the area of healthcare. Healthcare. Right? How so? How so? Identification and mapping. Identification and mapping of disease causing genetic material or disease causing gene information helps in, right, diagnosis the disease, diagnose the disease, prevention of disease, right, and treatment of the disease, right? So it means identification, identification and mapping, identification and mapping of disease causing gene, identification and mapping of disease causing gene, right? Identification and mapping of disease causing gene information helps to cure, helps to diagnose, treatment and prevention of disease, and prevention of disease, right? What is the use? Second advantage of Human Genome Project. So that Human Genome Project information helps in the area of healthcare. But how so? How that Human Genome Project information or the DNA sequencing information helps, right, in healthcare. So identification and mapping of disease causing genes information helps to diagnose disease. So diagnose disease means to identify disease, then treatment, right? So to treatment, to give particular treatment to that particular disease, so that information is useful, right? And prevention, controlling a prevention of that particular disease, right? So for preventing disease, right, for treatment of that particular disease, or to identify that disease, that human genome information, otherwise other organism disease causing genome information, right? So helps to treat that particular disease, right? So in healthcare, right, in medicine or in healthcare, so that Human Genome Project information is useful to diagnose a disease, to give particular treatment to that disease, or prevention of that particular disease, right? Then, so knowledge of human genome and other organisms genomes information. So knowledge of human genome, and other organisms genomes and other organisms genome, right? So human genome, knowledge of human genome and other organisms genome helps to study, otherwise helps to know or helps to study genome organization, arrangement of genome. Then another one, gene expression, genome organization, gene expression, cellular growth and differentiation, cellular growths and differentiation, and evolutionary process in biology, and evolutionary process in biology, right? See, that knowledge of human genome and other organisms genomes helps to study genome organization and gene expression, how it expresses, and growth and differentiation of organism or cellular growth and differentiation, and evolutionary process in biology, right? And one more advantage is, so knowledge of microbial genome, microbial genome. Microbial genome is nothing but genetic material of microorganisms, right? So that microbial genome research helps in fuel and environmental cleanup. Clean up, right? So that microbial genome research also helps in fuel and environmental cleanup. That genetical information or genome information of microorganisms is useful to environmental cleanup or fuel cleanup, right? So for the cleaning of fuel in rivers, otherwise environment cleanup, right? That genetic information of microorganisms are essential, right? So these are advantages of human genome project, right? So again, I'm repeating. So advantages of human genome project. So that human genome project information makes us aware of beneficial resources. What are beneficial, what are not beneficial, right? That information, human genome project information, right, gives beneficial resources information, right? That's second one. So it helps in the area of healthcare. But how so? See, identification and mapping of disease causing genes information helps to diagnose disease. Diagnosis of disease means identification of disease, then treatment of disease, that particular disease, and prevention of disease, right? Then, so knowledge of human genome and other organisms' genomes helps to study, right, genome organization, gene expression, growth and differentiation, and evolutionary process in biology, right? To study evolutionary process in biology, growth and differentiation, cellular growth and differentiation, gene expression, and genome organization. So that information, to study that information, so this genome information is essential. And one more thing, that microbial genome research also helps in fuel and environmental cleanup, right? So these are the advantages of human genome project, right? Here important concepts of goals of human genome project, then salient features of human genome project, then advantages of human genome project, and when it was started, so when it was completed, right? So how much time it takes to complete that human genome project, and what are the goals, what are the salient features, what are the advantages, right? You have to complete this information in human genome project, right? So now we are going to discuss another important topic, that is DNA fingerprinting. DNA fingerprinting. So note down these points again. Let's see. Right. So now come to another subtopic, DNA fingerprinting. So that DNA fingerprinting is also known as DNA profiling. So before we are going to discuss DNA fingerprinting or DNA profiling process, we need to know some information, right? We need to know brief introduction related to DNA fingerprinting, right? So what it is, we'll see. For example, so DNA, human genome, or human genetic material or human genome contains 3 billion base pairs. Just now we discussed it, right? So that human genome contains 3 billion base pairs. 3 billion base pairs. Am I right? In that, 99.9% of the base nucleotide sequence is similar among the human beings, right? In that 99.9% base sequence, nucleotide base sequence is similar among the human beings. Is similar in human beings. So around 99.9% of the base sequence is similar in human beings, right? So a small part of the DNA contains useful information. See, in total genetic material, 2.2 meters genetic material, so that 2.2 meters genetic material not participates in protein synthesis, not expresses, right? So in that, some part of DNA only contains useful information, right? So some part of DNA contains useful information. Some part of DNA contains useful information. All right. So then differences in DNA makes organism unique in phenotypical appearance, right? So differences in DNA, genetic material DNA, makes individual unique in phenotypical appearance. Makes individual unique in phenotypical appearance. Unique in phenotypical appearance. Phenotypical appearance means external appearance, right? So differences in genetic material DNA makes individual unique in phenotypical appearance. Phenotypical appearance means external appearance. So the differences, nitrogen base differences which are present in genetic material DNA makes individual unique in phenotypical appearance. It means, so whenever the nitrogen base sequences leads to change in genetic material, automatically some phenotypical characters or external characters leads to change in human beings, right? So differences in DNA makes individual unique in phenotypical characters or phenotypical appearance, right? Phenotypically means phenotypical appearance, external appearance, right? Then, so large amount of DNA is junk DNA. Only a small part of DNA contains useful information. No? But what about large amount of DNA? So that large amount of DNA is called as junk DNA. That large amount of DNA is called as junk DNA. Junk DNA. So that junk DNA is not expresses. So that junk DNA not expresses. Not expresses means it do not participate in protein synthesis. Not expresses. That junk DNA not expresses. It means it do not participate in protein synthesis. See here, so that human genome contains 3 billion base pairs, right? So in that 99.9% of the base sequence is similar among the human beings. So some part of the DNA contains useful information. Only a part of DNA or some part of DNA contains useful information. So the differences which are present in DNA makes individual unique in phenotypical appearance. But large amount of DNA in 2.2 meters of genetic material of human genome. So large amount of DNA is junk DNA. So that junk DNA not participates in protein synthesis. It means not expresses, right? So in that junk DNA, random variations occurs at every 200 nucleotides, right? So in that large amount of DNA or junk DNA, random variations occurs. Random variations occurs at every 200 nucleotides. At every 200 nucleotides, some random variations occurs in the junk DNA or a large amount of DNA. And one more thing, comparison of entire DNA is not possible, right? It is expensive task, right? So comparison of entire DNA is expensive task. Expensive task, right? So comparison of entire DNA is expensive task. So that DNA fingerprinting involves identification of differences at a particular regions of DNA called repeated DNA, right? So the DNA fingerprinting process involves identification of differences. Identification of differences. Identification of differences at a particular regions. At a particular regions of DNA. At a particular regions of DNA. So we call that differences as repeated DNA, right? So we call it as a repeated DNA. So what is the repeated DNA? So repeated DNA is nothing but so that repeat tandem repeats again and again in genetic material DNA. For example, so you can take A, Z, C, T. Right? These are 4 nucleotides, right? So that 4 nucleotides segment is considered as tandem repeat. So that tandem repeats again and again in genetic material DNA. So how so? A, Z, C, T. Again A, Z, C, T. A, Z, C, T. A, Z, C, T. See like that. So that units, tandem repeats or tandem units repeats again and again in genetic material DNA. So we call it as repeated DNA. Repeated DNA. Is it clear? So the DNA fingerprinting process involves identification of differences at a particular regions of DNA called a repeated DNA, right? So that repeated DNA is separated from the zinc DNA when we perform centrifugation technique, right? Then see density based due to density based centrifugation technique, due to density based centrifugation technique, due to density based centrifugation technique that repeated DNA separated from the junk DNA. Repeated DNA separated from the zinc DNA. From zinc DNA. Right. See here, what are repeated sequences? Repeated sequences are nothing but tandem repeats again and again in genetic material DNA. We call them as repeated DNA. Okay, right? So due to density-based centrifugation technique, when we perform density-based centrifugation technique, so what will happen? That repeated DNA sequences separated from the zinc DNA, junk DNA. How so? So when we perform density-based centrifugation technique, so 2 peaks are formed. One is major peak and another one is minor peak in centrifugation tube. So that major peak is junk DNA. Okay. So minor peak. So that minor peak is a repeated DNA. Is it clear? See, so that genetic material of human genome they collected, and when they performed density-based centrifugation technique, so what will happen? Two peaks are formed here in the test tube. One is major peak, and another one is minor peak. Major peak is zinc DNA, and minor peak is repeated DNA. So that repeated DNA is also called as satellite DNA, right? So what it is? That repeated DNA is also called as satellite DNA. So where exactly that satellite DNA located? So that satellite DNA is nothing but heterochromatin material. So that heterochromatin material or satellite DNA located at centromeres and satellite structures over the chromosome satellite structure, then centromeres, especially centromere and satellites which are located over the chromosome, right? Then, so satellite DNA is nothing but repeated DNA. Repeated DNA is nothing but heterochromatin material, right? So deeply stained or densely packed chromatin material is nothing but satellite DNA or satellite chromatin material, right? Note down this, it's a brief introduction, note down. So human genome, again repeating, human genome contains 3 billion base pairs. 99.9% base sequences are similar in all human beings. Then some part of DNA only contains useful information, and differences in DNA makes every individual unique in phenotypical appearance. Large amount of DNA is called junk DNA. It not expresses the characters. So random variations occurs at every 200 nucleotides in their junk DNA, right? So comparison of entire DNA is expensive task, right? This DNA fingerprinting process involves identification of differences at a particular region of DNA. We call it as repeated DNA. So repeated DNA is nothing but that tandem repeats again and again in genetic material, right? We call it as repeated DNA. So due to density based centrifugation technique, that repeated DNA, right, separated from the zinc DNA, right? While we performing density based centrifugation technique, two peaks are formed in centrifugation test tube. Major peak is zinc DNA, minor peak is repeated DNA. So that repeated DNA is also called as satellite DNA, right? In first year also we introduced it, right? So what is satellite DNA? All right. So that repeated DNA is nothing but satellite DNA or heterochromatin material. So heterochromatin material or satellite DNA or repeated DNA. So what are satellite DNA? How many types of satellite DNAs are there? Where exactly they are located? Right? And what is the process of DNA fingerprinting? What are the advantages of DNA fingerprinting? Right? That information we'll see in next class. Just it's a brief introduction related to DNA fingerprinting. Right?